Welcome back to another video. It's your boy and Holy Spirit. Today I'm going to be reviewing Warmane, the Wrath of the Lich King private server. I'll be going over many different points, pros and cons. First we're going to take the pros, stay tuned. So firstly we're going to think about the fact that it's not even available in this form from Blizzard right now in retail. And also it's free to play. This is a huge benefit. Obviously, number one, you can't get it in Blizzard form, so even if you wanted to, you can't get blizzlike. Also, it's free to play. There is a queue timer sometimes, which is a bit annoying for people who don't pay. Which that is a con in itself, I think, but overall, still pretty good. Secondly, there's barely ever any lag on the server. Like, sometimes, yeah, when the server resets, for example, raids and dungeons, or just dungeon lookouts, there's a bit of lag for a few minutes / seconds. But other than that, usually the server is very, very stable. And I think this comes down to the fact that you do have to pay to skip the queue. Excuse me, meaning that they can invest more money into servers. It's a win-win, really. Next, we're going to look at the fact that Warmane has an insane population. Their population is insane. I've never seen anything like it on any other private servers. Even Sunwell at the peak couldn't compare to this. There's no other server that compares to the population of Warmane. People say that the population is fake, blah blah blah. That might be true. I don't care. I can see the population that actually is present, or even if the numbers are lying, and it's still huge. So either way, it's still insane, and you'll always have something to do. There's always something going on. So yeah. So the next thing I'm going to think of is tied into the last point I made. There's so many guilds that are downing the end game content. You know, RS25 heroic, 30% LOD, and there's at least one guild downing 0% LOD. So if you're into that, you have a possibility of getting into a 0% LOD guild called Afterlight 2. Anyway, overall, there's people doing ICC 10 normal progression. There's people doing ICC 30% 10 to 15 times a week in guilds. So there's something for everyone. So next thing we're going to look at is the respawn rate for herbs and ores. In Northrend they're really insane. TPC they're okay as far as I remember. Vanilla they're a bit bad sometimes. In some places in vanilla they can be really hard to get. And so there's two things to do with that. One, they have a scaled respawn rate, which means that the more people there is in an environment, the faster we spawn. So in vanilla zone where maybe you are one of the only people, it's going to respawn at a much slower pace than Northrend when there's hundreds of people farming. But overall, it's pretty good respawn rates if you can get past the early levels. I don't know if it's bugged or if it's retail like or whatever, but it seems very slow. So this is one of the more juicy parts. The raids are really well scripted. And I'll tie into another point I was gonna make. They patch bugs really quickly in raids, and in general I believe so too. But I obviously notice it more in raids because I only log in, raid, log out. Um, but the raids are really well scripted, and if there is an issue, they will fix it within a few weeks maximum. Usually within a few days they have a solution, if not within a few hours. So overall, the scripting community is it's okay. It's okay. It could be worse. It could be better. That's certainly true. But I think they're doing a good job. Also, on that same note, almost every single quest, like 99.99% of all quests I've ever done, were scripted phenomenally, or at least worked. But 95% were scripted perfectly. If not, I'd say it's even more, probably 98%. And then 1% maybe were like a bit weird or whatever, 1.5, whatever. But overall, quests are scripted really nicely. So this next part is actually one of the reasons that I think Warmane is one of the best, if not the best, private servers out there. So they have they have 2x7 rate servers. One of them it just stays on at endgame content. One of them progresses from Naxxramas to endgame content seasonally. I think every year, every 6 months. I'm not sure. And then they have a ×1 lordaeron server, which is actually harder content. The bosses, for example, have 2 million more health and stuff like that. So this is actually the point that makes me consider Warmane possibly one of the greatest Wrath of the Lich King servers ever. Purely because of this, they have 3 populated servers. 4 actually. They have a PvP server too, where you get free PvP gear. I forgot about that. So if you want a PvP, you can get into PvP gear quite easily. You have 2 5-1 and stuff like that gear, raffle and stuff like that. So yeah. really huge turnaround for Warmane. That they have these 4 different server experiences because they're all unique, but they're also the same in a way, you know. And lastly, the point that I thought of for the positive for Warmane was the low-level dungeon pop, aka when you reach level 15, you can queue up for dungeons, blah blah blah. And these actually, and sometimes, occasionally in low level, they even pop, you know, like quite often. Like, I mean, it can take 20 minutes, but it happens, you know. So overall, this wraps up the pros of this, let's call it, series. Yeah, we're gonna go on to the cons next, and we're gonna see if the cons outweigh the pros. So the first con I want to talk about, because this seems to be the biggest con for people outside of Warmane and somewhat inside of Warmane, is the pay-to-win shop. Many people don't like it, many people like it, many people are neutral. Overall, in my opinion, though, is it's a whatever thing. As I said, there's barely, if any, lag on the server. There's a high population. There's fast GMs. You know, like you don't get these things unless you have, you know, money. So in my opinion, this is I don't really care. I've used it a little bit, but I don't really need to. I can get some items without buying them. But sometimes, you know, I don't give a shit. I'll buy STS Heroic or whatever, because you have to have like 80k DKP to even get it. So whatever. What the fuck is $3 to me? 23 euro to me. I mean. So yeah, I don't mind the pay to win shop. I don't need it personally, so it's not like I rely on it for fucking skill or whatever. So yeah. And this next thing is absolutely abhorrent. Like, this shouldn't be even a thing, but I suppose money rules, right? Money makes the world go round. So the GMs will turn a blind eye to most bad stuff you do, such as ninja looting in raids, aka BiS items, motherfucker, if you don't donate enough. I have no number what the number of this is. I know people who have donated hundreds of dollars and they got banned for Ninja when they didn't Ninja. I was there and I know they didn't, but whatever, it doesn't matter. So how much is enough? Probably thousands or in the 10,000s, and then you become immune to ban essentially, almost. Um, but this is the one of the worst things about the server is that if you donate enough, you get immunity sort of. Like GMs are scared to ban you. Um, you can look at my YouTube. I've made videos about this before. How people clearly ninja. I prove it. For example, this is one guy who had heroic CTS from Ruby Sanctum 25, whatever, and he rolled. And I screenshotted before because he was doing shit damage compared to me. And I was like, what the fuck? How you show shit? Anyway, I screenshotted his gear before with the CTS to take the piss out of him, and then he rolled for CTS later on when we downed Halion, and he won it, and he didn't get banned. So yeah, if you donate enough, enjoy. The next thing is the fact that ICC, let's say 10 and 10 normal and 10 heroic, they share ID, and 25 normal and heroic share ID. So you don't have 4 lockouts, you have 2 per character. Now, the reason I hate this so much is mainly because it reduces your chance of getting Shadowmourne. Also, the fact that SFS, the shards you get for your Shadowmourne quest, the drop rate is greatly reduced compared to other servers I've seen. I've seen people get 12 SFS in one raid in other servers, and meanwhile, you're lucky to get more than 4. In fact, 4 is probably also lucky. I've seen people get 1 in an entire raid. So there's definitely some fishy stuff going on there with the Warmane, number 1, combining the lockout, so you have less SFS drop rate, whatever, and number 2, um, the reduced amount of SFS is also absolutely disgusting. But whatever, fuck 'em. So the last thing we're gonna think of as a con is the fact that GMs, and this is true for any server, GMs don't ban 100% with 100% success rate, aka they can ban someone who shouldn't have been banned, or they don't ban someone who should be banned. The first one is usually a mistake, the second one is usually because they've donated, or there's lack of evidence, whatever that fucking means. Anyone who plays in Warmane who's reported a few times will know this message. There's a lack of evidence, and then they'll send you a link. Go to this website and see what evidence we need. And it's like, I look at the website. I provided you with everything there. So what? Okay, guys. So that sums up my kind of review slash pros and cons of Warming. Overall, I would would like to say that I think this server is 100% worth playing on. Some of the cons might scare people away, but overall I think the pros definitely outweigh the cons. And I can't think of any other server with the sheer population that Warmane has. I've never seen any with them, and I've been on most. Um, yeah, I mean, come join us, I suppose. You know, it's an alright server. It could be better, could be worse. That's how I see it. Alright, guys, take it easy. Take care. Thank you for watching.